So, how does Galaxy work? Well, as I said, it's a graphical user interface. It's divided in three parts. So we have the part here on the left, we have the middle pane, that's the biggest, and we have the part here on the right. On the left, you find the tools. So all the tools, the command line tools that it contains, and you can search for them. So when I search for that tool that I've shown on the slide, bow tie, you see that I get some results back. This is the tool that I was talking about in the slides. So when you find the tool that you want to use and you click its name here, it will be visualized here in the middle pane. So the middle pane is for visualization. So it visualizes the parameter form of the tool. All the parameters are here, and you just have to select them and set them. And once you have set all the parameters, you can click Run Tool, and then it will run there on their supercomputer. It will go very fast. So you visualize the parameter forms of the tools, but you can also visualize data here in the middle pane. So the data is here on the right in what is called the history. So when I click an icon here in the history, you see that it shows the content of this file. So the middle pane is for visualization. The part here on the right, the history, is an overview of your input files that you have uploaded to Galaxy and all the files that have been generated by running tools. Everything is here. You can create a new history here by using the plus button, and then you can give a name for it. So, and the history is very nice because it allows for reproducibility. And that's a big plus of Galaxy over using the command line tools. So when you use the command line tools, or even if you have a script, it often happens like this. You run your script, something goes wrong, so you try a tool again, you try it once more, that specific tool with different parameter settings. And a few weeks later, you don't remember at all what you have done. Yeah, you know that you have run that tool, but the exact parameters, no idea. So if you run these commands on the command line, you have to keep track very thoroughly what exactly you have done and what worked and what didn't work. Here in Galaxy, they do it for you. Because for each of these files here that were the result of running a tool, I can click the name and I can click this button, Run Job Again, and then the parameter form appears, but filled in like I have used it. So with all the parameter settings that I used for generating this result. So after a few weeks, I can just click this button here and I can see, yes, I used it with default settings. Okay. So that's very reproducible. You know exactly what you have done, and you can also share your histories. So when you go here to history options, you see that there is a button for share and manage access. So you can share your histories with other people, which makes it also very transparent and reproducible. And you can also extract a workflow. And when you extract a workflow, you will extract all the tools that you have used with all their parameter settings, but not the results. So a history can be big, because all the files that were generated as a result for every tool are there in the history. So your history is typically around 10 gigabytes at least. But workflows don't contain the files, they just contain the tools and the parameter settings. So they're very small. So when you extract a workflow, you can use the same tools with the same parameter settings on a new set of samples. You might think, why doesn't she share a workflow with us? Well, because the parameter settings of the tools are very specific for the data that you have. Your own data will probably always be the same. I mean, if you use a stranded protocol now, you're also going to do it the next time that you generate bulk data, unless you weren't happy with the results. But The setup of your experiment will be the same every time you do an experiment. Now, but my data and your data might be very different. You might not have a stranded experiment. You might have paired end data. You might have another organism. So this is why I'm not sharing workflows with you, because your parameter settings will be different than mine. We will go over the workflow step by step, because again, for your data, you might need to use different settings than I'm using for this data set. If you're uploading data and the upload takes longer than expected, it's a good idea to try this button here, the refresh history button. Also, when a tool is running and it takes a very long time to finish, this can also help. So you click this button and then the history will be refreshed. When you do multiple analysis, you will have multiple histories. That's okay as long as you don't exceed the disk space that is allocated to you. If you have multiple histories and you want to go to another history, you use this button here, switch to history. It will give you an overview of all the histories that you have, and you can select another one, and then you will automatically go to that one. Galaxy is very user-friendly in the sense that it will automatically save all the things that you do in a history, so you don't have to do the saving. Galaxy will do this for you. So every file in the history has a color, and the color has a meaning. You can see that here on this slide. So green is actually good because it means everything was fine, no errors. Red means, as you can imagine, there was an error. And then you have these here, these colors, they all mean that you have to wait. So yellow means the tool is still busy, but it is working. And gray means, yeah, you have to wait. There are so many people using Galaxy at the moment that you're in the waiting queue, and you will have to wait. So when you click the name of a file, you will see more information. So it will tell you what kind of file it is. It's an HTML file. You will see the size of the file. And you have these buttons here that I already explained a few. So the view button is very important. It allows to visualize. When I click it, yeah, you can see the file here in the middle pane. The delete button can be helpful if you want to delete something. You have to make a distinction between deleting and purging. He will ask you this. So deleting just means that you don't see it anymore, but it's still on the server. And purging means that you really delete it. It's no longer on the server. Download buttons are also important. They allow you to download the file to your computer. We have the Run Job Again button. So it takes you to the parameter form. So if you notice that you have to change one parameter, then this is very helpful. You click it, it opens the parameter form, and then you can have the same parameters as before, and you can change one of them. So without having to set all the parameters again. And then we have here the dataset details. I'm going to show this on this one. This is also a useful one because it will tell you exactly the parameters that you have set. It will show you what was done on the command line. So this is a graphical user interface, but behind the scenes, Galaxy is running these command line tools on command line. So here you can see what was done on the command line. And when you expand here, the standard output, you see the output that was generated by the tools. This is sometimes important. Some tools give you nice information here, like this one. And also here, if an error was generated, you will find the error message here. So this tool worked fine, no error was generated. But if an error is generated, you will see it here. And that's important because if you have error messages, it's not always you who is making a mistake. Sometimes it doesn't work from their side, so you will have to report this.